Tide, as I mentioned, 73 players currently in the NFL, and they are going to have another big draft crop, it looks like. What do you got here for the Crimson Tide?
Well, firstly, we got to start. We just finished with Nussmeier. We've got to talk about Ty Simpson. He's very interesting because I think when the season started, I think a lot of people, you just talked about sort of a game manager. I think a lot of people figured Alabama chose Simpson. This is his fourth year in the program. He's never been a starter before. So a lot of people thought, oh, they're handing it to him sort of to manage it. Like, don't screw it up. We've got a lot of talent with a running back, Jam Miller, who's thickly built, 5'9" and change, powerful kid, got a little bit of twitch. We got Jeremy Bernard, the receiver. We got the tight end Cuevas. We got a good offensive line. All you got to do is manage it. But I think Simpson has surprised a lot of people. Even though he looks thin, he's not tiny. He's really athletic. I think that's one of the things that people didn't anticipate when the season began is he can actually get out of the pocket, make plays on the run. He can get out of the pocket and run with the ball. He has shown a good ability to find receivers when he's sort of pushed past his initial read. He can go find alternate receivers without forcing the ball. And I know people don't, they sort of want to say, oh, why does it matter if he hasn't played for 2 years in college? If he's good enough and the NFL team coaches him well enough. Part of what helps a guy and the reason that 1 year thing is such a big deal is when you've played 1 year in college, between that first year and the second year, what every team in college does that you're going to play is they pull all the film, they pull all the data, and they can look and say, look, here's the things he does, here's the things he doesn't do well. And every team that plays him that second year is going to build their coverage and their defense to force him to do things he's not good at. And if he can't make that adjustment, it's a huge indicator that when he gets to the NFL and runs into the same thing, when teams take away what he's good at, he's going to fail. So if you can't overcome that in college, it's a good indicator you're not going to do it in the pros. That's why teams want to see that second year. The more experience you get, the more you are better suited to do things you're not a stud at already. So I like Simpson. I really hope he comes back for another year, but I understand the financial side of it. Their offensive line, we've talked about them before. Dewberry, Roberts, Vandermark, three interior guys, very good. Roberts has sort of been up and down this year. He's not been the dominant guy, and that's part of why he's been rotating. The Caden Proctor kid, the underclassman at tackle, is a big, strong kid. You talk about giant, 6'6 plus, 360. He looks the part, moves better than you anticipate. They've got a really talented offense in terms of skill players. Defensively, loaded too. You look at that offensive line or defense line. We've talked about Overton. The Keenan kid is a kid we have not talked about as much, but this kid's a playmaker. He's sort of to me, he's the unheralded guy on their defense because you have Overton. Then you have the Deontay Lawson. You have Damani Jackson, who's another corner that I think is going to be in that discussion with Mansour to be the first guy because Damani's a long, linear kid, over 6 feet, 190 pounds. Kid can run. Deshaun Jones, their other corner, not the elite prospect, a little bit shorter, just under 5'11", but they have two good corners. They have Overton who can get to the quarterback. I really like Keenan. And then I know you've mentioned him before. It's someone I didn't know a lot about, but the Justin Jefferson kid and the Deontay Lawson, they're two linebackers. These are really good football players that I think have grown on both me and the NFL scouts that enter in the season. I think they were both viewed as guys that were potential late rounders. I think they've moved into that 4th, 5th round consideration, possibly squeezing in to the 3rd round, but I think it's more the top of day 3. But their team overall, the number of prospects that are legitimate guys, it is pretty impressive.
Yeah, I like Deontay Lawson. I don't think he has the upside as some of the other top caliber prospects in this year's draft class. So I don't know if he goes in round 1. I think Deontay Lawson, though, is a day 2 player. Jefferson has come on strong, though. I mean, there could be a lot of love for him. He's been flying around the field, making tackles in the bunches. I know Jefferson's a little bit lighter, a little bit shorter, I think. But Lawson, he's been on the radar now, it seems, forever. And then the safety, Keon Sabb, we also have to mention on the back end there, redshirt junior, 6'1", 206, very good athlete out of New Jersey, I should mention. And you mentioned
that's why you mentioned him.
You mentioned Tim Keenan the third, the defensive tackle. He's like the heart and soul of this defense. You watch him. He's a fiery guy. I've even seen him put Kalen DeBoer in check. So he's got no qualms like holding teammates and coaches accountable. And we didn't mention Jam Miller because last time we talked about Alabama, he was hurt. He's now back. He's been a little bit banged up, but he's a very compact back with good vision between the tackles at 5'9" and 5/8 inches, 214 pounds, should test very well. And I know I'm going to talk about Jeremy Bernard, but Isaiah Horton has come on and been a tall, big, lengthy target for Ty Simpson. He's been one of his go-to guys, 6'4" wideout, 209 pounds. He's definitely going to get some looks there late day 3, maybe a priority free agent. Um, Now, LT Overton, 6'2" and 3/8, 274, gangly long arms, 82-inch wingspan, can play inside, outside versatility, can get after the quarterback, really plays with good pad level, and he shows a pass rush repertoire, right? So, like, he
Mm-hmm.
can be an edge rusher at the next level because he's got a whole arsenal of pass rush moves. And, I do want to mention Jeremy Bernard because he is my favorite wide receivers. And I think this is shaping up to be a relatively strong wide receiver class. And I think Jeremy Bernard is amongst the best of them. And he's not my number one guy, but I do have a first round grade on him. I think he can do a lot. He can run the short to intermediate routes. He can beat you deep downfield. He can beat you on a short pass and gadget plays, and he's just a weapon. I mean, you get the ball in his hands, you watch him go to work. That's Jeremy Bernard, and I do believe he will land in round 1. Damani Jackson, we mentioned Mansour Delani. I have Damani Jackson as my number 2 cornerback. He's long, he's lengthy, he's physical. He comes in at 6 foot and 3/8 inches, so a little bit longer, 191 pounds, very adequate speed, fluid hips, can track the ball very well, and he's a sound tackler. Like, he's going to stick his nose in the dirt and help out in the run game, and I like that out of my cornerback. Caden Proctor, I can't talk enough about him. Listen, this guy, the athleticism and agility speaks for himself when he takes
Yeah,
never
for
mind
a
Jeremy
huge guy like him.
never mind Bernard taking the bubble pass for a first down. Proctor will take the screen pass and rumble bumble stumble for a touchdown. We've seen him do that. We've seen him line up at fullback. We've seen him take handoffs, and that speaks to his athleticism. And I think that should kind of hush some of the weight concerns that coming into the season. You heard his weight would tend to balloon. He weighed in at 359 pounds in the spring at 6'7", so he's a gargantuan mammoth galooth. And I think he just needs to iron out some of his pass protection technique and work out some of the wrinkles there. But I do believe Caden Proctor is going to be a starter for a very long time in the National Football League. And let me just add Ty Simpson, my 2 cents, because I like the intangibles. I like his decision maker, but I like the kid. I like the personality. If you listen to him talking, he's got that Tennessee drawl or whatever it is. But I just like where this kid's head is at. He just seems very mature, very grounded. We talked about he didn't take the temptation or the urge to go and dip his toes in the transfer portal. He could have went and collected a big time payday somewhere else. He waited patiently. And, I was wrong about Dwayne Haskins. I actually like Dwayne Haskins coming out. He was the last 1-year starter that I stamped my name on. I'm going to be very hesitant to do that now because I was scarred, and every quarterback's a case-by-case basis. But as you know, Russ, when history and trends teach you something, you've got to pay attention. And the track record is long. It's proven. And until a quarterback can actually show, other than Kyler Murray, can show that being a 1-year starter translates or works at the NFL,